Well, there's some new questions this morning about President Obama's speech from Afghanistan's war zone after critics claimed that it sounded like a campaign speech. One reporter pointed out the literal timing of his comments. It was 7:30 p.m. on the East Coast. It was 4 a.m. in the morning in Afghanistan. The same reporter tweeted this following comment, which is getting a lot of attention today. He said, "View of the president's speech from the press pool with him at Bagram Airfield. He's speaking to voters at home, not us." This is the picture that was attached to that tweet, and it shows an empty press pool room when the president gave that speech. Joined now to talk about the politics of all of this in an election year that's inevitable. Ed Rollins is former deputy chief of staff to President Reagan. He also managed the campaign for Mr. Reagan's re-election in 1984. He's had major roles in many other presidential campaigns, and he is a Fox News contributor. Tamara Holder is an attorney and Fox News contributor. Sabrina Schaeffer is the executive director of the Independent Women's Forum. Welcome to all of you. So, Ed, I'll start with you. No doubt, you've orchestrated many political events that were of a sitting president, I would assume, at times. Is this one of those?
This certainly is one of these. You look at a calendar, you see big events that are coming up, and you try and plan something around it. I think it's great that he went and talked to the troops. I think it's too bad it became political, and what really political was sort of attacking Romney on the issue with a commercial, saying Romney wouldn't have made the same decision I made, which is basically very misleading. Yeah,
I want to get back to that in a moment. Let's take a look at a piece of the president's speech, and this is sort of the tone that I think is getting a lot of attention this morning. Let's take a look.
As we emerge from a decade of conflict abroad and economic crisis at home, it's time to renew America. An America where our children live free from fear and have the skills to claim their dreams. A united America of grit and resilience.
Time to renew America. Sabrina, that sounds pretty much like a campaign slogan, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But you'd have to be, living under a rock if you didn't know that there's an election going on. There's definitely political theater going on at Bagram Air Force Base. The question is, was this speech still necessary? And I think it was. I mean, 41 American soldiers were killed in April. 60% of the country is opposed to, pursuing this war any further. And I think that the president has been sort of noticeably absent all of this time. And he needs to be there. He should have been there sooner. And so it coincided. Clearly there was theater going on, but I don't think it was any less necessary.
It's been 17 months since the president visited the troops in Afghanistan, and we all know, you have the Quran burning and the horrific murders that happened in the meantime. So this might have been a window that was a good time for him to go over for a lot of reasons. Tamara, what's your take on all this?
Well, I think that there's definitely, like Sabrina said, political theater going on both sides. I think President Obama made a pathetic statement assuming or making the assumption that Romney wouldn't do the same in killing Osama bin Laden. But at the same time, all Americans are supposed to be voters. So, of course, Obama was speaking to voters. He's speaking to the American people that we killed Osama bin Laden. It was a major defeat for the Americans and for our country, and we need to unite as a country and move forward.
I guess, Ed, if you look at it from a purely political standpoint, the question would be, will it work? What they want very much is to present the president as a tough man on national security, and that he's tougher than Mitt Romney would be. So that's the argument in this venue.
In this venue, that may be the argument. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about the economy. It's not going to be about the war. This is a man.
Well, what if something happens between now and then? That's a big question.
Hopefully it won't, and hopefully if it does, the president will rise to the occasion as an American. We all want him to do the right thing and lead the troops in the correct way.
I think the fact is, I think we all remember when Karl Rove was out there and saying, Americans trust Republicans more than Democrats, and I'm sure that Republicans are gearing up to say the exact same thing this time. I don't think that it doesn't matter, where the economy goes. I don't think that this is going to be.
That's a good point. You've got Mitt Romney, who really his strengths are in the economy and in domestic policy. So this president may be sort of reversing that equation for Republicans. Ed, you go first, and then Tamara.
There's no question he has done some correct things. He kept Gates, first of all, as Secretary of Defense. You can't second-guess a lot of the things that he's done. At the end of the day, it's still very complicated, as we know. But at the end of the day, this campaign is going to be about leadership and about the economy and nothing else. And
our president has leaded very well. You cannot say that, what if something happens? In 3.5 years, we have not had a terrorist attack on American soil. That is a huge, huge plus for Obama on American soil, but also abroad. We have not had terrorists strike our soil. to me, a huge victory.
But how do you, when you're Mitt Romney and you're coming from, his background, how do you in this campaign get out there and convince the American people that you would be, as strong, if not stronger, than the president has been?
Yeah, I don't think that criticizing the president on this is necessarily the right approach. I think he should say focus on what he's strong with, which is theoretically the economy, and he has his business background to bring to the table on that. But I think that criticizing the president for keeping us safe, as Tamara is putting it, is not a good strategy. I think better to focus on things that he would do.
Ed, what would you tell Mitt Romney? How does he build up his national security bona
I would tell Mitt
fides?
Romney to run his own campaign and let the president do what he has to do. This president cannot basically undo the last 3.5 years. And the American public, it's why it's a dead even race, the American public has not been satisfied with his leadership. So I think the key thing, you run your own campaign, president hopefully run the presidency as effectively as he can in the remaining period of time. The American public gets to make their choice.
Let me just real quick, one-word answers if you could, everybody. Has the president used the word I too much? Has he taken too much personal credit? George Pataki was here yesterday. He said, that you just constantly want to turn it over to the great work that all of our men and women have done in the field. Does he say that I did it too often?
Only when he's not blaming someone else.
No.
I think he overuses it. This was about the Navy SEALs and our great military, and that's what the dialogue should have been about.
All right, great talk. Thank you so much to everybody. Good to have you here. We'll see you soon.
Great discussion. And how about Ed hanging out with the ladies today?
Nice duty, my goodness.
Well done.
Prettiest guy on the panel down there.